Do we pay enough attention to the adolescents' mental health?
Actually, like, knows me. I really feel
like this strong person that you see
the whole day to my dissertation, and I'm already feeling distressed.
and me when
There are two factors that affect mental health in adolescents strongly. 1. The rise in the summative exams. 2. Social media and the long-lasting detrimental effects. I decided to speak to a social media influencer, Molly Thompson, aka Beauty Spectrum on YouTube, to see what her opinion is on social media and the effect of exams.
This is like an argument with definitely two sides. I think that it can have a positive impact. Say, for example, if teenagers are feeling lonely or they haven't like found their people within school, I think social media can be a positive in that respect, because it can make people feel like they fit in and they can find groups of people that are more like-minded. But obviously I can see the major downside. Social media is so comparative. I think Instagram especially is really bad. If you're having like a day where you feel bad about yourself, Instagram can be lethal because you see all these people that maybe look better than you, or are having a better time than you, or are doing something more exciting than you, or are more successful than you. Personally, I'm going to say no, because my job wouldn't exist without it, and I love doing what I'm doing at the moment, and I think that creative people now have a huge outlet that wasn't there before, but I can see why people might argue it in the other way.
Kids back in the day would get to know their friends on a personal level and verbally communicate with them during the day. Kids nowadays are so obsessed and addicted to their phones that they lose the ability to just talk face to face, and despite having friends all around the globe, they also may feel isolated and therefore damage their mental health. In order to understand how the adolescents are feeling, I decided to talk to some actual teenagers and see what they feel about social media.
Social media has affected my mental health in a very negative light, because I see other people and I think that what is shown on social media is real when in fact it's all photoshopped and fake.
Not really affecting my life that much. If anything, it's probably made it a bit better.
Because it's made me compare myself a lot more to other people, and I would say it's definitely made me more insecure.
Social media affects my life because I find myself dictating my life around what I see online.
Yeah, 100%. I see so many people that struggle from it, and it's ridiculous.
I'd definitely make that change. I know a lot of people who have struggled with the mental health, and social media just hasn't helped.
I think I would, because unfortunately social media can be very toxic, and it affects people's mental well-being. So I think if I could, and if I had the ability to change something, it would be how some people are represented by social media.
I would make that change because I'd want to change the way that people's bodies are viewed, and like the people that we call icons are really like authentic, like that doesn't actually happen to people. And it's more of like this dream life than it is a reality.
While addressing this topic, I decided to talk to a healthcare professional, Dr. Barton. What kind of mental health issues do the adolescents tend to go through?
Lots, and everything from your simple stresses through to anxieties, lots of depression. It's all like proper psychiatric diseases of, you know.
A psychiatric disorder is a mental illness diagnosed by a mental health professional that greatly disturbs your thinking, moods and or behaviour, and seriously increases your risk of disability, pain, death or loss of freedom.
Personality disorders, the whole ramification all the way through the spectrum.
How does a bad mental state affect someone physically?
In every single way, as I said before. So when you're in a bad mental state, you potentially make worse life decisions, so that you don't exercise as much, you don't eat as well. Eating, funnily enough, has got two sides to it. So one, when you are in a worse mental state, you will make worse life choices and eat worse, more sugary, carbohydrate, refined, processed foods.
How can social media affect an adolescent's mental health?
Really? It depends on how you use social media, ultimately. Can be extremely toxic. And if you want to keep up with the Joneses, then you will never be able to, because ultimately people on Instagram and Snapchat, they only portray the best parts of their lives. But social media actually, so lots of the resources available do use social media. And so it depends on how, it's like with everything, you can either use it for the benefits that it's there for, or it can, you know, be your own worst enemy.
Teenager that is struggling right now. I have done so much revision, but I have the fear of, did it go in? Am I going to be okay in the exams? Can I sleep at night? Because my anxiety tends to go full spin when I'm trying to go to sleep. But I am feeling the immense pressures and the stress and the anxiety of exams. Trust me. The rise of summative exams is a massive factor in an adolescent's life. These weeks are full of isolation, anxiety and stress.
I found the exams extremely stressful and there was nobody really around to help me to manage it.
It did, because it caused me to have a lot more anxiety and stress than I would on a normal daily basis.
Here is Dr. Barton, a healthcare professional, on his opinion on the summative exams and what teenagers should do to deal with the stress. What are the consequences of being overly stressed long term?
When I first started working as a GP in the practice that I'm working at the moment, I remember talking to the senior partner and saying, oh, well, you know, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And he turned around and says, no, if it doesn't kill you, it just grinds you down and grinds you down until it does. And ultimately, it will just, stress just releases adrenaline, your heart rate's running at a higher, your blood pressure's running at higher, and so mentally, physically, it deteriorates the body on both.
What would you encourage a teen to do if they were starting exam stressed?
So it depends on what the stress is. If the stress is purely and simply because of their own pressure upon themselves with regard to the exams, and it is just the exam stress itself, ultimately it's reassure them that it is short-lived, it is just your exams, and just, number one, prepare as much as you can for the exam, because the more relaxed you are about the exam, you'll be more relaxed about the exam, if you are more prepared.
Personally, for me, I don't think exams massively affected my whole life. Like, I would be where I am without them, if that makes sense. However, I, again, know that I'm in a really unique situation, and when I was doing exams, I was super stressed, and I have a lot of friends that their whole life is exams and they're so stressed about them, or they're going back to university in January and they've got mock exams and they're so stressed about it, and it just really eats up all of their time and all of their energy, and it makes them super anxious. And I think that there are more negative effects of exams than there are positive, because okay, it's great when you come out of them with like an A star, but it's so much effort leading up to it, and not even just academic effort, like mental effort.
So now you know what the adolescents are feeling. Will you make a conscious effort to check on your teenager or your friend and make sure they are having the support and guidance that they may need during this tough time?